Hi there, this is Grey Wolf 45. As you can tell by the few videos that I've got on my channel, I collect World War II stuff. In the future, I hope to post more of these videos, but one of the things that I was planning on doing was to kind of give a play-by-play of my efforts to preserve and restore some of the stuff that I've been collecting over the years. So I've kind of came up with a program for my channel. I call it the Restoration Shop. To begin with, let me give you some background about myself. I am currently a college instructor at a local community college. I've been collecting World War II stuff for the past almost 20 years, since I was in high school. Over that time I've collected radio gear, field gear, generators, and I have 2 Jeeps. Being that I'm just a lowly adjunct college instructor, I have a limited income, so the Jeeps are going to have to wait. However, I finally came to the decision that I have several smaller projects that I do have the resources to start restoring. And so I decided the other day to kind of let all of you who watch YouTube kind of follow along. So let me show you one of the projects that I've already started. So I can't show you the beginning because I've already went beyond the beginning, but maybe I can show you guys from where I'm at right now to where I'm going to. So if you keep tabs on this channel, you'll be able to see this project progress, and hopefully others as well, because I may start other projects before I complete the one that I'm going to be showing you today. Now this is the core of one of my projects that I've started with. This is a Briggs & Stratton engine block that is part of a PE-77E generator. Just to give you a little background, the PE-77 was a small generator that produced 110 volts DC, direct current, and powered World War II vintage teletype machines. I don't have the teletypes yet, but hopefully I'll get those in the future. I picked this thing up almost 15 years ago, and it's been sitting around in my shop since then, since I've been in grad school. But the other day I decided I've got some income coming in, I've bought some new tools, I might as well get going on these things. They're doing nothing, just sitting in my shop. I might as well restore them. As you can already tell, I've disassembled the generator. These are the parts that I've cleaned up. The cast iron engine pieces, the block right here, the base, governor housing, the head, and the base plate. These are pieces that I've cleaned up, but I'm going to soda blast. I've also got new rubber feet right here, and I've been cleaning up the parts, soaking them, cleaning them. These are the ones that I've already brushed off all the paint and everything. I've already got a new piston and rings ordered in the mail. eBay's a wonderful thing. Here is the actual generator components. The field coils are in good shape and work. However, as you can tell, they have some damage, probably from a mouse or from just abrasion. Since the coils themselves are in pretty good shape, I'm just going to rewrap them. The actual cores for the coils that fit into the coils like so. These are in good shape. These will be soda blasted and repainted in electrical red gypsum. The rotor, I'll take this to a motor and generator shop, have them polish and cut down the contacts here, undercut the mica, and clean up the rotor, but that'll have to wait until I get the engine farther along. These pieces right here, these are going to be the more difficult ones, because these have to be tinned. If you'll notice right here, these capacitors, which help filter the DC current so that you have a constant 110 volts without any disturbance, they're actually soldered to the metal here. So this cannot be zinced or chromated or chromed, because or nickeled for that matter, because the solder won't stick. So it has to be it has to be tinned. In order to do this, what I'm going to have to do is desolder these two places right here, drill out these rivets, take off these pieces, then take the actual brush holders themselves, these pieces, by cutting their rivets out, and then sending the metal pieces off to be tinned, and then I'll have to find a rivet press or somebody that can do tubular rivets instead of the more modern pop rivets, because I want this to be as close to original as possible and have it all riveted back together. Likewise, the cooling fan was probably more than likely tinned, since the corrosion looks just the same, so I'll have it tinned in the same process. Over here we see other components of the engine awaiting restoration. The air shroud with gas tank still mounted. I was testing out the air shroud, or I should say the tank mounting, because I did some work on the fuel cutoff right here, and I wanted to make sure that it all still lined up. Here we see this is the muffler bracket to hold the new muffler that I was able to pick up right there. We have the water shroud for the generator itself. We have the rope pulley, which I've already started to clean on, but I decided, why am I doing this? I can just have this soda blasted with the rest of the components. This engine is small enough that you can actually carry it, and here's the carrying handle. It mounts, interestingly enough, if you're looking at the block right here, it mounts right like that. So when all of this is together, you can pick this thing up. We then have the air filter, which needs to be restored. We have more sheet metal around the air shroud. We have this is the spark plug shroud. You actually mount the spark plug through this hole and then screw the entire thing down to the head, and this helps cut electrical interference from the ignition system. The entire ignition system is either in a metal casing like this or in wire loom. This is the end piece for the generator itself, and then you see some small parts in here, carburetor elbows, and small other components, and that's the actual generator housing right there. As I go along in this restoration process, this bucket of parts, or table full of parts as you see it, you'll see it come together into a running, working PE-77. As you can already tell, I've been in the process of cleaning up parts. I've been wire brushing and cleaning parts so that they not only look good, but are good and ready for any kind of metal finishing, such as zinc or cadmium plating that I think that they need. Like, for example, this bolt right here, which is all nice and silver, this, before I cleaned it, was slightly corroded, but it was originally black parkerized, so I will have to either get a kit or find somebody that can use black zinc parkerizing and get this metal finished the way it should be. Others, I'm not worried about their metal finish, because just your common head bolts like these right here will be painted, will first be primed with red oxide and then be painted olive drab. I'm still waiting for a couple of parts. Like, for example, this is one of the original Lord mounts. Lord is a prime manufacturer of engine and shock mounts, and thankfully they're still in business and they're actually still making this exact part. So I have 4 of these in the mail. And these will be coming in the mail hopefully shortly, and I can replace all 4 of them, because this one is the best one of the lot. The other 3 were either completely destroyed from leaking gas or so hard that they wouldn't have served their purpose as shock mounts. The same was true, of course, of the rubber feet that you see right there. I had to replace them because they were either destroyed by leaking gasoline or too hard. Other parts that you might see behind this tin, this is the actual outlet box with a large capacitor in it. This mounted on top of that And I will, at the end of this video, show you a picture out of the manual so that you can actually see how this generator actually looks once it's put together. Now that you've seen the PE-77, before I end this video and await your reviews and hopefully get more people to watch this and get more interested in actually restoring historical items like one of my favorite shows, which is that American Restoration. I'm going to show you some of the other projects that I have around my shop awaiting restoration, and I hope you don't mind the clutter because it's just a two-car garage with 2 Jeeps, several lawnmowers, and a lot of other stuff put in there, and I still have to leave room for space to work in. So it gets kind of crowded in here every once in a while. So let me show you some of the other projects. Here we see my PE-75 AC. It's a World War II generator that was featured in one of my other videos. I wrongly thought it was a PE-75K, but after doing some more research, I found out the correct one. And what was funny is the engine that you see running on its own in another video of mine was the correct engine for it, so I was able to just swap the engines out and have the correct setup for a PE-75 AC. As you can see, this is a quite larger generator and engine than the one I showed you before. It stands almost as tall as the snapper lawnmower you see in the background. It runs on a Briggs & Stratton ZZ engine. This ZZ engine is rated at about 6.5 to 7 horsepower, and while that doesn't sound like a lot, the connecting rod and the stroke on this engine is twice as much as that 8 horsepower Briggs & Stratton that you see on that snapper right back there. So the torque on this engine is pretty insane. I can literally stop one of those newer Briggs & Stratton engines by putting pressure from my shoe on it. This one, I tried it and I couldn't do it. Almost burnt my shoe up. But this project I'll probably start concurrently with the PE-75 that or the PE-77 that I just got done showing you guys. This is a 120 AC generator and can produce 2.5 kilowatts of electricity. So that it can produce quite a bit, maybe not enough to run your entire home, but it would be a good standby generator if the power went out. As you can see, it's fairly complete. I've been able to collect many of the spare parts. There are only a few that I still have to get together before I can start it. It's still, right now, in running shape. The only thing missing from it is what mounts right here on the side of it through that hole. That's the outlet box. I have the outlet box. I took it apart in order to make sure that there were no components in it that I needed to get before I started the restoration. And there were 2 broken binding posts on the side of it, and I was able to find them and get them for the restoration. The problem is I never put it back on the generator because I wasn't planning on using it before I got it restored. Now over here, beside the snapper lawnmower, you can see the Briggs & Stratton ZZ engine that was featured in the first video I shot with the PE-75. This is an older ZZ with the full cast iron shroud. As you can see, the air filter is hanging a little bit loose because I haven't got it screwed in. But that's how it would look if it was, if it was attached, fully attached. This engine weighs almost 50 pounds more than this engine mounted on here because this one uses stamped sheet metal parts for the housing, the cover over the head, and many other components, whereas this one, everything is made out of cast iron, so it's quite heavy. I'm keeping this engine not only because it runs and because it's World War II vintage, but hopefully if I come across another PE-75, I'll have an engine ready to put on top of it. Now, another project that I have, or actually two projects, are these two Jeeps right over here. These will probably be the last projects that I get to. I apologize, I didn't move the ladder out of the way. They've been in storage for, this one for the past 10 years. This one, sadly, this was my first big acquisition, has been sitting in my garage for almost 18 years. As you can see, the bodies have been taken off the frames and stacked against the wall. That's the cool thing about a Willis. The flat back allows you to do that. The frames are stacked on top of each other, and again, I apologize for the ladder that's in the way. And then over here we see some of the drive components. I also have the correct 1941 vintage transmission and transfer case for this one, because this is a January 42 slack grill. Now the final project, and probably the project that I will start after I complete this and the PE-77, is a PE-95. If you see this square looking frame right here, this should be laying flat on the ground. This is a skid plate for it, and I will show you a picture after this video is over of what a PE-95 should look like. Here's all of its components. That's the front. Those are the side panels. This is the actual engine, which is a Willis engine, a Willis Jeep engine, that runs the PE-95. Flipping over here, you can see the actual generator part itself. That is the stator. And over here, sticking out from underneath those extension cords, is the rotor assembly. I also have some other interesting projects that I'll get to later on, like these are M1937 burner units. These would be used in World War II field stoves. If you see right there, that is the case that the PE-77 will fit into after I restore it. I'll also sand that case down and give it a good coat of World War II OD as soon as I finish with the PE-77 itself. So I hope that you enjoy seeing some of the projects that I'm going to be working on in the future. And I hope you enjoy and come back to see the progress of these. I don't really know what kind of format I will be using. Am I going to show you the work as it's going along, or am I just going to show you the stages of my collection? I'm kind of debating that. And if you have any suggestions, put it in the comments of this video, and maybe I can work it in of having this camera looking over my shoulder as I work. Kind of boring, me standing here with a die grinder and a wire brush cleaning bolts, but I'm up for anything. Again, this is Great Wolf 45. I hope you come back and see more of my videos, and stay tuned for new episodes of The Restoration Shop. Thank you.